JBN, we keep you informed. Welcome back, guys, to a new series, Crimes That Rocked the Nation, Episode 2. Renford Solomon, a serial killer with a heart of stone. Can a mother's tender care cease towards the child she bears? This was a question posed shortly before 30-year-old Renford Solomon, part-time gardener for Spanish Town Road address in Kingston, was the answer to 5 counts of murder in the number 1 home circuit court. Solomon was alleged to have murdered his employers, their 9-year-old daughter, the helper, and the living gardener. He was defended by Millard Johnson and E.K. Banjoko. The soft-spoken, broad-shouldered young man was the kind of chap one passes daily on our streets and lanes in Jamaica, quiet, unassuming, penetrating eyes that never seemed to blink, and an engaging smile. So what in the world could have triggered such vicious, inhumane, and at the same time senseless behavior, such as would arouse Solomon to turn upon a man of years, Sidney Campbell and his wife, operators of a bicycle shop on Harbour Street in downtown Kingston, his daughter and household employees snuffing out their lives in one fell swoop? Evidence in court as to how Solomon was alleged to have grabbed the 9-year-old and slashed her throat as she begged for her life caused the jury of mostly women to sob softly in their handkerchiefs. Understandably, the trial judge, Justice Lincoln Robinson, took a brief recess to allow the poignant moment to pass. Earlier, the case had been put for trial before Chief Justice Kenneth Smith, but due to his reported indisposition, it was put back 1 week and thus came before Justice Robinson. It was a time in Jamaica's history during the 1960s when a strange type of killing was taking place all over, with special reference to Upper St. Andrew. Women were especially targeted. The victims would be found with their throats slashed. It happened in different communities, sometimes more than one incident on the same night. At each murder scene would be written in blood on the walls of the house. By the time this is discovered, I will be in Cuba. The police were clueless. An all-island alert was posted. Manhunt after manhunt was mounted to no avail. Every clue led to a dead end. Panic, fear, and a growing cry by the public for quick action on the part of the government began to spread. And then there appeared a light at the end of the tunnel. The police had begun to turn their attention to the missing living gardener because his body had not yet been found. Solomon had been interviewed, and it was established that on the day of the murders he would not have been expected to be at work, so it was assumed he was not the murderer. 2 significant things happened. 1. The gardener's body was discovered in a yam field on the property after the Campbell's dog started scratching frantically at the spot. 2. Solomon's mother, thought to be a woman of high repute, though living in what is today called the inner city, took a decision which, if more mothers, parents could or would have the courage so to do, Jamaica would be a better place. There was no question that she loved her son. She loved him so much, she told the circuit court, that she felt she had to protect him from himself and so save others. She grieved for the Campbell family and the other victims. She did not want others to die at the hands of her son, Renford Solomon. On the resumption at 2 o'clock that day, Solomon's mother was rigorously cross-examined by Johnson. She stuck to her story. If anything, the cross-examination only helped to strengthen the prosecution's case. Solomon elected to give an unsworn statement from the prisoner's dock, as was his right. In that statement, he denied knowledge of all the accusations. He said his mother and brother, a soldier in the Jamaica Defense Force, had concocted the murder story in an effort to frame him. The prosecution argued that Solomon, the part-time gardener, only visited the Campbell's home 3 days per week, and he was very kind, especially to the 9-year-old Campbell's only child. The picture painted by neighbors, family members of the Campbells and others was such that no one, including the police, suspected the quiet, unassuming Solomon. He had been routinely checked and seemed to have passed the test, but at Spanish Town Road things were quite different. Solomon's mother said she had no radio. She never heard of the murders until some time after. She had noticed that her son was not going to work, and when she inquired of him what had happened, he told her his employers were traveling. Days later, she noticed some bloody clothes in a pan of water outside in the yard. She said nothing. She did a search inside their 1-room dwelling and found some foreign-looking coins and other items, which she suspected did not belong to her son. Then it came upon her looking at one of the coins, and her life changed dramatically thereafter. She told the court that her son threatened to kill her if she told anyone in the tenement yard where they lived about what she had seen. He ordered her to wash the bloody clothes. She was not allowed to leave the room, and if Solomon was going out, which was rare, he would lock her in. Then one day her younger son, a soldier, visited. Solomon acted as if everything was normal and advised her to do likewise. She appeared to cooperate. However, Solomon made the mistake of stepping outside briefly. That was her cue. She hastily wrote 3 words on a piece of paper: "Call the police," and squeezed the paper into the palm of her younger son's hand as if she had been shaking his hand in farewell. She told the court that her younger son seemed to have sensed that all was not well, and he bade a hasty farewell. Mercifully, Solomon, it seemed at the time, was unaware that anything had gone awry. Within minutes, a squad of police and soldiers descended on the Spanish Town Road residence, and the very surprised Renford Solomon was taken into custody, the court heard. The premises were searched. Some personal effects belonging to Sidney Campbell were found, among them some rare foreign coins of which he was known to be a collector. Also taken from the premises were Solomon's clothes, some of them still showing traces of blood, a knife resembling a dagger, which forensic evidence proved was a murder weapon, and some literature on Hobbia and De Lawrence, which the court was told had to do with certain satanic rituals. All these items were exhibited in court. Forensic and handwriting experts gave evidence to prove the writings in blood on the walls, both at the residence of the Campbells and at other murder scenes, were done by one person, Renford Solomon. After his conviction for murder in relation to Millicent Campbell, the wife of Sidney Campbell, and the sentence of death was pronounced. Having exhausted all avenues of appeal, the date with the hangman was finally set. However, Solomon cheated the hangman by hanging himself in his cell the night. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell.